Oh, my mind just got blown to hell.
Meanwhile, hi, this is Sam.
And this is Marcus. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching. Today, we're finally here. We are watching episode 6, the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's get into it.
Let's go!
We must flee.
What is it?
I think she's already spoken more than she has in the prequels.
Yeah, good on her. Good on her. I'm so happy they got them back, though.
How did you
True.
No, all I know is she's coming. Ben is gone.
Whose fault is that?
We need to leave, bro. We need to take Luke and hide somewhere.
Where? In the desert? I'm not leaving my home. At least here we have a chance.
What?
We need
What is this logic?
I'm not putting anyone else in danger.
Ah!
We're enough. You and me.
No! We know you're not enough because you get your ass fucking turned into barbecue in a few years.
And that was against stormtroopers.
Yeah.
How did the sun go down?
I mean, it's hard to miss with the flamethrower, I suppose.
I have to face him, Master.
I swear to God.
Come on, do it.
Do it.
Ah, bait me.
Ship's all set. You don't have to do this, you know. We can still fix the drive.
I have to go.
You said yourself, that's not enough time, bro. Like, come on.
Now is our chance to wipe out this network in its entirety. We cannot prioritize one lone Jedi.
He is not just any Jedi.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm Darth Vader.
Who are you?
Follow Kenobi.
At once, Lord Vader.
I mean, you know, the Grand Inquisitor does have, like, a ship on board, I imagine. Like, it's not like you can't just hop on that ship and follow them separately.
Yeah, can't we like send TIE fighters to go after them?
Yeah, what, like, this is a weird chase. Like, you have TIE fighters. Is that... Oh my god, our farmer's gonna beat Reva.
Imagine.
If they can beat an Inquisitor, but they can't beat some friggin' stormtroopers with flamethrowers, come on, bro.
Prepare my ship. I will face him alone.
Let's go.
I want Duel of the Fates.
I want some madness. Better set design.
Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?
I will do what I must.
Then you will die.
Oh, I don't want to see this. I don't care.
Yeah, imagine like, what if you snipe her?
That's what I always think. Like, if you just
You know?
snipe, or like you send a rocket in, or
Like, maybe I guess like the Force, maybe, but
Yeah.
like still.
oh, you missed your one shot, bro. One job.
And that is why you will
Sick.
always lose.
Are we gonna get a cameo from someone else here? I feel like something's gonna happen.
Like who?
Why is someone gonna show up? I don't know. Or is she just gonna get sniped?
Maybe Luke like forces or some shit.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, this is better.
Nice, much
This is
better.
better. This is better. This is better.
Oh, now he's like full force Obi-Wan. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Maybe Luke comes out on like a speeder. Pod racer. Anakin's
No,
pod racer.
he's gonna be riding a bantha. And he's just gonna run her over.
Like a bantha.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Oh shit. Yo.
Okay. Oh.
Anakin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of it. I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. The same way I will destroy you. Then my friend is truly dead. Goodbye, Darth.
Obi-Wan could have saved so many lives there if he had just finished Anakin off for the
Why did he
second
just
time.
leave?
But why does he just let him live?
Okay, that interaction there is what this whole show should have been like.
Yep.
That was incredible up until he left. Where
Yeah.
you're like, but you could have just killed him.
Break canon, but like it just doesn't.
Yeah, I guess like if he killed him,
Yeah.
obviously it would break canon. But you know, 100%, I get what you mean. It's like it does make sense.
They need to put like an Apple AirTag on Luke to be able to find him anywhere he goes.
Is it? Oh my god, it's the Senate.
You seem agitated, my friend.
About damn time.
Yeah, it's gonna take us 6 episodes.
Princess Leia Organa, you are wise, discerning, kind-hearted. These are qualities that came from your mother. But you're also passionate and fearless, forthright. And these are gifts from your father. Both were exceptional people who bore an exceptional daughter. I wish I could tell you more.
It's okay. You don't have to.
At last, we're getting Star Wars leitmotifs.
It's taken so long to get to this point.
Like, I get it, you know, it's more impactful if you use it sparingly and stuff, but it doesn't mean you can't have, like, you know...
There's so much of it as well. Like you
Yeah,
could have
there's
just
so
used
many
a variety
leitmotifs.
of the music. There's 9
like in Rogue
films to
One, they
pull
did,
through,
like-
bro. Like
Rogue One did, like, remixes of
yeah, exactly. They just
classic
use like
leitmotifs.
they just use like
certain,
bits of
like,
motifs,
you know, yeah.
and then they just flesh it out. Like I don't know why they haven't done that. Because I feel like nothing's really stood out from the original Spore.
It's drippy.
Totally doesn't look like a Jedi.
Yeah, in it.
I mean, he looks awesome.
It's like, he's like, guys, you do know we still need to be on the D-Lo,
Yeah.
right?
The only protection he needs now, Owen, is you and Bruce.
He's gonna regret saying all of this. Kentucky Fried Owen.
Finger licking good.
Hello there.
Yes. I bet he's waited the whole show to say that.
No.
Oh my god, give it.
Master Qui-Gon. Beginning to think you'd never come.
I was always here.
Oh my god.
We just were not ready to see. Come on. We've got a ways to go.
Oh, my mind just got blown to hell. That's what this show was supposed to be about.
Okay. Wow. I have to say, that episode alone, incredible. You know, I think, yes, obviously there were like moments where kind of like, okay, Reva versus uncle and aunt was a little sus, but other than that, I genuinely thought that was an amazing episode.
I think that episode was basically everything this show should have been.
Agreed. It's just a shame that we got it, you know, so late.
It's a shame it's it's like the final episode felt like what should have been a few episodes ago to set the standard for what was supposed to come. Because like I do genuinely feel like the show up to this point was really poor, and this episode, I don't think it's not going to redeem the show for me, because overall the show is still like pretty bad. But this episode was great. It felt great. They finally used like some proper Star Wars music. At me in the comments, I don't care. Like, they have so much Star Wars music to pull from, and throughout all of this they haven't even used like bits of motifs like you just said in Rogue One, and then they at least flesh that music out so you feel like you're in the Star Wars world via music. Like, this episode looked great. I still don't care about Reva, and we called that ages ago. Like, it's like I said, Disney just won't let anyone be villains anymore.
Yeah,
it's like if they made a show about Hitler, I'm sure they'd try and make him a good guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just Disney being Disney. I feel like Reva was the weakest part of this episode. Like,
for sure.
I felt like every time we went to her, we knew that Luke would be fine, so there was like really nothing at stake. But it was cutting away from the duel that we have been waiting for like 10 plus years for.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the duel?
I think the choreography was cool. I have to say that I wasn't a huge fan of like how they filmed it. Like, the cinematography felt like for people who know, like, it felt like a Jason Bourne action scene.
Yeah,
rather than
100%.
focusing on really solid choreography and filming longer takes. You're cutting 100%. Constantly, and it's I feel like lazy.
I feel like, you know, with the first Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight, obviously we had a little bit more slow paced, which people didn't really like as much. We weren't that big fans either, but they were taking kind of, you know, inspiration from like samurai films and the original kind of like trilogy, and I think this time around they were trying to be a little bit more like the prequels. But And I think the choreography was there, but I agree. I think the film language itself wasn't the best.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad per se. Like, I don't think it was as bad as, or like choppy as like the shaky cam that we would have gotten for like Jason Bourne. But I definitely feel like, you know, we could have benefited from longer takes without the need to kind of like we don't need 3 takes to show one stab.
Yeah,
you know, just
yeah.
show us the beauty of the scenery and the beauty of the movement from a long take. But I agree, I think the visuals this episode were a lot better. You know, I think like definitely visually the best episode of the show, tonally the best episode of, okay, again, minus the Reva bits, because I guess we'll have a proper section about that in a bit, but the emotion, it's like you said, I think this episode should have been, is what we should have gotten for the whole show. You know, it's like the tone and the emotion when Obi-Wan was like crying and saying, "I'm sorry, Anakin." Holy crap, that was like incredible.
I will
genuinely,
say, though,
that got me.
The fact that he just walked away, I get for canon that he can't kill him, but
it doesn't make sense.
They should have written that slightly better. Like, I don't know, a TIE fighter comes in all of a sudden and Obi-Wan has to flee. Like, something like that would have made more sense.
Or like the Inquisitor or like backup or something comes in. Yeah, I agree. I feel like they could have written themselves out of, you know, that sticky little situation. Because like you said, canonically we know that both of them survive, but rather than Obi-Wan leaving again just like that, when he knows that he needs to kill, like at that point when Vader just basically confessed, saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm not Anakin anymore," you would think that,
like, you should have just killed him.
Yeah, at that point you would think Obi-Wan would be like, "All right, well then I have no qualms killing you anymore," right? Or you would think,
like,
least.
yeah, or if he had felt the tremor in the Force that Luke was in danger, that would have made sense as well. And he's like, you know what? I can't even kill. I have to go. That would have made more sense. For him to just walk away puts his character in the same situation as he was at the very beginning, where he's going to feel this, like, because he's going to hear about Vader now that he's aware that Vader is a thing.
He's going to be like,
"Oh no, Alderaan, that was on me. Damn." Like, even though it's Moff Tarkin, but still, like,
I agree. I feel like they could have written a little better.
But I mean,
sure.
Perhaps that's slightly nitpicky. But yeah, okay.
No, I would say that's a very fair kind of point to point out, to be fair.
I know every time if I ever rewatch this show, that's going to annoy me when I get to that point. And I'm going to be like, we've waited the whole show for this awesome duel, which I feel like, you know, we got the duel that we needed and we deserved.
I think there's a part of me that wishes they used Duel of the Fates, because the thing is, I wouldn't be complaining as much if the new score was better. And I don't want to sound like, you know, we're really crapping on the composer and her music, because I think she did a really good job of Loki, but this show so far doesn't have memorable music.
It's lackluster.
Whereas Rogue One used the original motifs but added new ones really well, and Mandalorian has such an iconic soundtrack. Even Book of Boba had like at least an iconic kind of theme song. Whereas with you know, Kenobi, I feel like if we're getting original music, make it stand out a bit more. You know, I feel like music can add so much to a scene, and you know, if you haven't already seen Marcus's video on how music can shape a scene, check that out. But yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like if you're not going to use Duel of the Fates, make it sick. It was not bad. It was just like, you know, it was very generic.
I don't even remember the music.
Yeah, we had a few like voices, kind of like, oh yeah, which always works, but you know,
it needs to
when
be
you think of what they could have,
it needs to be memorable.
When you think of what could have been,
you know, I get it. It's you know, it's okay. Like, it's nitpicky. I'm just happy towards the end they actually started using like quote unquote Star Wars music.
And I guess like you know, like some people did point out when we mentioned this before, I guess using it sparingly does make it more impactful, for sure. You know, for sure. And it was nice to hear the Force theme and the Imperial March, which, again, is the leitmotif of the Empire, not just Vader, but you know. Anywho, what are your thoughts on Reva then? On her storyline.
Could try not to be too harsh. I just think she was a waste of time. Like, she's just a waste of screen time. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a Kenobi story. If you're going to introduce new characters, make them actually impactful as people. And I feel like Reva's storyline really detracted and stole screen time from Kenobi. Because I feel like one of the earlier reactions, we might have even said that Kenobi is a side character in his own show, which is something, again, Disney have a habit of doing. I feel like the show, in the 6 episodes, it took quite a while for me to feel like Kenobi was actually the main character. Because to begin with, it was very much centered around Reva for some reason, but
Reva and Leia.
And Leia I can understand. I can understand her being like a main character. I'm okay with that. To begin with, it irked me because I feel like I wasn't ready for that. But as the show's progressed, I've become I'm okay with it because it's actually interesting to see.
I think they developed her pretty well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Leia's storyline, and at the end, you know, I think like that closure of that closing line of Obi-Wan telling Leia of like her parents and stuff, that was beautiful. I feel like genuinely this episode had lots of great scenes. We're gonna get into the Qui-Gon scene in a bit, don't worry. Luke's little hello there, like blah blah blah. I think, you know, there were strong moments this episode, but I agree with you. I think Reva was the weakest point of this episode and this season altogether.
She didn't need to be in the show.
I get why, like, you may need like a secondary antagonist, you know, below Vader.
Inquisitor for that,
yeah, but they're, you know, and I understand there's always a need for, like, an original new character can be good, but the thing is, she's not actually that original when you compare her to, say, the second sister in wait, I don't know if it's the second sister, but the Inquisitor in Fallen Order. You know, there's lots of parallels there, and she kind of had like a redeeming, I mean, yes, we got like a plot twist of her, you know, wanting to enact revenge and taking out Vader, but I kind of agree with you where it felt more like she wasn't, you know, she was just taking away screen time from characters we really wanted to see.
I feel like she didn't move the story further, and she wasn't impactful towards the story.
I would say she moved the story further because the plot needed her to, as opposed to, you know, genuine kind of like character being that important, if you get what I mean. It's kind of like it's like the whole kind of argument where Indiana Jones doesn't actually progress the plot in Raiders. Interesting conversation for sure, but it kind of feels like that, where like, you know, she's just there.
I get that, but I feel like she could have been interchanged with like the Grand Inquisitor, and it would still have the exact same impact on the story. But the thing is, the Grand Inquisitor is at least a bad guy. Like I genuinely get quite annoyed now when you
every good guy, every bad guy needs to be redeemable,
and then they just become a good guy by the end of the story, and you're just like, just give me an old school villain, please. I know we have Vader, who's like the ultimate evil, but it would just be nice to not detract my screen time and also try and sell me a character. In 6 episodes, and for the first 5 episodes, like, to be frank, the writing was really quite poor. And for me to be sold on a character that quickly is difficult. It's
like kind of Cruella is now, you know, a good guy, like every villain, like Maleficent, etc.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I did like Maleficent though, but anyway, I think like there were good moments of this show. I guess now we're just moving on to like the show as a whole. There were good moments. Don't get me wrong. Prior to this episode. There was Darth Vader versus Reva was great. Darth Vader, you know, stopping the ship. What other good moments were there? The clone trooper was kind of cool.
I mean, the flashback to the temple.
flashback
flashback
and
with Annie and Obi-Wan like dueling.
and the common theme here is, you know, it's all Anakin and it's all Obi-Wan, and because that's what we signed up for, you know. It's kind of like, you know, that's what we wanted for the show. And it's just like you said, I understand why Leia is an integral part of the show. Again, it's not really what I thought we would be getting, but I did grow to like her storyline in the end. So fair play. But yeah, there's definitely a part of me that feels like this show could have and should have been bigger. Sorry, that was my alarm. let me say that bit again. But there is a part of me that does feel that this show should have and could have been better and bigger. You know, this is like Kenobi. This is like the biggest thing that everyone has been waiting for. And although we got it in the final episode, or maybe like episode and a half, 5 and 6, is that really enough? And people are like, oh, you know, like it's like different, and it's like taking a risk by like giving us new characters and changing up the music and like, you know, showing like different things.
I counter that, and if anything, this is the safest they could have played it. They didn't take any risks in the show whatsoever.
I kind of agree, and I feel like, you know, people that say taking risks or doing new things for the sake of doing it is good. Yeah, sleeping with your best friend's wife is a risk. It doesn't mean it's a good thing. You know, like
yeah,
like it's one of those. But okay, Qui-Gon, that was a great moment.
That was great. We were waiting for that for like every single episode. And I'm so happy they got like Liam
that might
back.
be the hypest moment I got.
I mean, that was great. Show. I mean, they also got Palpatine back. Like, that was cool.
That was cool.
I mean, he's actually getting to the age where he doesn't even need the makeup eventually. So
do it. True that.
I'm just sad we didn't get like an unlimited power. That would have been amazing. I would have creamed my pants if he just went unlimited power.
I mean,
Kenobi.
Personally, I'm just really sad that, you know, all jokes aside, I'm just really sad that, like, I mean, it's less sad now because we got such a good episode, but there is definitely a part of me that really wishes that this show, one, was longer. Like, if we got 6 40-minute episodes, that's hardly enough when Andor is getting 10. It just feels like, you know, it feels like for a 30-minute show or 40-minute show, it's kind of the same amount of time we would get in like a Clone Wars episode, in like, you know, Bad Batch episodes. And yet, you know, this is meant to be a mature show. This is meant to be a darker show. And we didn't really explore that psyche, that kind of like, you know, the thinking and the emotion behind Obi-Wan and Vader and that relationship. Because we got Obi-Wan and Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and then Obi-Wan and Vader in New Hope. There's so much exploration in between, and that's what everyone thought the show would be, of like, you know, how is he coping? And we finally did get a snippet of that at the end when he's like, I'm sorry, Anakin, blah, blah. Like, this show should have been a character study. Like, you know, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was an exploration of the psyche of a broken person. And obviously, you know, lots of people will be like, oh, this is Star Wars, they don't do that. And they don't go like that dark. But think of like, it's funny because I'm comparing the runtime to Clone Wars, a children's show. But the final episodes of Clone Wars, when it was, you know, about Revenge of the Sith and Order 66, that went dark and deep and sad. And for me personally, I think this goes down to what you were saying before of the poor writing. And for me, I think they should have taken the direction of Mandalorian, where they would have maybe different directors per episode. Or, and you know, this is just my opinion, of course, preface that and parenthesize all of that. This is all just our opinions. I wish that Dave Filoni or Favreau had a bigger part in this show.
Don't you think that's quite shocking? Like, if anything, you know, that should have been an alarm bell from the get-go.
You know, 100%. And I think, like, Deborah Chow had good moments. Like, that last episode was so good. But genuinely, I'm not sure if it's Deborah Chow or Lucasfilm with Disney that had these requirements. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Like, maybe they were the ones who were like, make it short, make it simple, blah blah. But I wish, we had a Kevin Feige. I wish we had like a Dave Filoni. I wish we had like a Favreau. I wish we had someone over. I mean, like, even for something as big as this, I'd even say bring back George Lucas as like a supervisor just for this show. This is the biggest Star Wars show. And considering how Mandalorian season 2, in my opinion, was still better than this show as a whole. And Mandalorian was a show that no one really asked for, and it just became a thing, and it just became really good. Whereas this is a show that we've all been waiting for 15 years. But I don't know. It's just a shame. Are we gonna get season 2 though? Do you think?
I mean, if they do, I'm not watching it. I don't care.
I mean, we will.
I know we will.
We're gonna have to.
Like, I completely agree with everything you've just said. I think I personally feel that George will never come back to do any Star Wars stuff because of how Disney
for sure
have done him so dirty.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
You can tell like in any interview when people ask him about this sequel trilogy that Disney was supposed to make when he sold Lucasfilm, and you can see the genuine hurt and sadness in his face when he talks about it and what they've done to his Star Wars. But I think the show overall, again, is just like, I'm just really let down and disappointed. Like, this last episode was great, and it was everything that it should have been, minus Reva. But like, it's nowhere near enough to redeem the show for me, like, whatsoever. Like, I feel like the show ultimately was like
a disappointment,
just a massive disappointment. But it was a letdown due to writing. I think it probably wasn't Deborah. I do feel like it probably was down to the writing of the show. I mean, this is what happens when you have, what isn't like the main writer like Joby Harold, who literally did like like some
Transformers,
some rubbish film. Like,
he'd never seen Revenge of the Sith or something.
Well, like he did
crazy.
Like the screenplay for Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. That's not even out.
I think
yet.
that. Yeah, no, I don't think. Yeah. He's doing. He did some like really dead films.
The Zack Snyder one. He did King Arthur: Legend of the Sword. But I think that's the Guy Ritchie film.
The ass
that
one.
That kind of says everything you need to know, to be honest. And it's like, no disrespect to the dude, but you literally, you killed 15 years of my dreams with your writing. I have a feeling it's probably not Deborah, to be honest. Like, I do feel like,
but I feel like,
ultimately poor writing.
For sure.
And then, Deborah was probably put in a position by Disney, realistically, where she had a certain budget, she had to meet a certain deadline, and Disney were probably like, we like this script,
It's just a shame because I feel like Deborah Chow's episode on The Mandalorian, they were good episodes, and like, it just feels like Mandalorian got more budget. It feels like Mandalorian got more time and effort, which is really strange to me. You would think that like Disney would be like, all right, okay, Mandalorian's great, but Filoni, Favreau, Bryce Dallas Howard, Deborah Chow, all of you guys, our best directors, are gonna bring you over to Obi-Wan just for one season for now.
Amazing. Like, because
Bryce Dallas Howard did some of the best episodes of Mando as well. Okay, her season 1 episode was really dead, but season 2, she was so good.
Season 2 was just such a good season, and I feel
insane.
Like Mandalorian is
the
just
writers
set the
were so
for
good
all
for that
Disney
as well.
Properties, and Disney should have known that. So I don't understand why Filoni and Favreau weren't more involved, because this is Disney's most valuable IP at the moment.
I would say we do need to give credit. I personally think at least the writing of the dialogue of this final episode, the interactions between Kenobi and Leia and Qui-Gon and Anakin, really good writing. Like I felt it, you know, it felt good. The acting really good. So kudos to that. So in my opinion, like the final episode was genuinely like a 7 to 8 out of 10. It's just a shame that the rest of the show, if I'm nice, was like a 5.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. Closing thoughts. What's your final score for this episode and the show as a whole?
Oh, okay. All right. I would say final closing thoughts. I would give this episode a 7 out of 10. There are really great moments in this episode. It made me feel something, which is the first.
It made me feel like Star Wars.
Yeah, it made me feel like I was back in the Star Wars world. It made me feel like I was a kid again, which is exactly what I want. So I give this episode a 7 out of 10. There were like moments where that irked me, but that's okay. Largely like forgive and forget on that. I'd say the series as a whole is a 5 out of 10 for me.
Fair. Fair.
Overall, I feel like I'm walking away winded. I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to like slate it too hard. But if I'm judging this as just like a TV show, like it's all over the place. If I'm judging this as a Star Wars fan,
it's very mid.
I'm just very disappointed that whoever was in charge of the direction of this show decided to take the easy route and just let all of us fans down.
Agreed.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, more or less the same. I'd say this episode like an 8 out of 10. As a show, probably 5 as well, just because it's very safe, very by the books, very mid, and genuinely just unfortunately there was just too many kind of tumbles and falls in the previous episodes, unfortunately. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. Did you like the show? Did you hate the show? Do you think there should be a season 2? What were your favorite moments? Yeah. Marcus,
we'll fight you in
do the
comments.
outro.
I'm ready. I've been Marcus. He's been Seb. We've been Meanwhile. Thank you for watching the season finale of Kenobi with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you don't miss any videos from us. Peace out.
Peace.